Okay, so Cancer is home, growth, right? Um, Nourishing. So can't make this up. You just cannot make this up. You got Father Sky, which is trusting the unknown, which is the new beginning, right? You have the snake, which is shedding your old skin, which is releasing. And you have Ascension, home and ascension. That is what this is about. It's about this new beginning, right? Nurturing yourself at home so you can move forward, so that you can go to your best and your highest self, even in the north or southern hemisphere where you're releasing things that no longer serve you, so that you can prepare for the spring, so you can set those intentions, so you can move forward. There's so much going on around us, right? Right? Without mentioning what happened this weekend, there's so much going on around us that we need to focus on ourselves. We need to stop worrying about things outside our sandbox, right? I think I mentioned that before. In the military was like, just worry about your sandbox. What's in your sandbox? And so that's what I'm trying to do now. I lived my life in everybody else's sandbox, and now it's time to live my life in mine. That's part of nurturing. So you want to make sure that you're your best person or your best self. And whether that means that, you're the best mom, you're the best sister, you're the best friend. Hello and welcome to the Sunday morning coffee. Cheers, everybody. Good morning. I hope that your weekend has been okay. Um, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that because we don't want to talk about some other things. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the solstice. And we in the Northern Hemisphere like to say summer solstice, which for us it is. But in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. So I wanted to talk about each of those things and also let you know that even though we're in, the longest day of the um, year was on Friday or yesterday, and then on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and the longest evening of the year was for the Southern Hemisphere, right? So I took some notes because I wanted to be um, a little more accurate, and I didn't want to just, say something off the cuff that maybe wasn't true. So this solstice, so for summer solstice, it's a time to turn inward, right? And it's the same with the winter solstice. It's a time to turn inward. But for the summer, it's about growing and evolving, finding nourishment in growing and evolving. It's a time to pause and wait for that energy of the spring to reach its full bloom. What we've been working on some things, right? And even in those in the southern hemisphere, you've been working on some things because you just came out of the um spring. No, the winter. Well, I don't even know how to go backwards. The fall, right? So the fall preparation. So for summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, it's a time to develop trust and confidence in ourselves and that what we set into motion is correct, even if we have to go through some tough times. So the sun is illuminating things for us right now. The sun is saying, okay, this is what we wanted to do, and this is how we're going to get there. And it might be a little bit of confusion that you have to go through, a little bit of turmoil, right? And it's going from action to um, nourishment. So the new beginnings of spring are transitioning into a period of uncertainty. So you might have anxiety and worry. Old things might want to pop up, right? So this is a time to honor setting intentions and gratitude, right? And it's a period of awakening of our conscious. And for the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, it's a time for increased feminine energy. So we're talking about encouraging introspection, resting, right? Pouring love into ourselves, emotional processing. Um, Also, though, it's still inviting us to look inward and to slow down. So whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, you're still looking inward and you're still kind of pausing, right? But in the northern hemisphere, this is a time for reflection, and release as well. So, and I'm saying as well because in the northern hemisphere, we're getting ready. We're getting all those things that we've been working on so that we can transition and move forward, right? Um, and we might have to release some things that just weren't working out, or maybe we tweaked them a little bit and it's a bit of a change. So, so basically, no matter where you are in this solstice period, you're still finding emotional safety. You're still, that sun in Cancer is still nourishing us. It's still nurturing us. It's still helping us feel comfortable, right? Finding that comfort within us. And in the Northern Hemisphere, we're nurturing our uncertainties in preparation for the fall equinox. And in the Southern Hemisphere, we're nurturing our emotions as we release things and prepare for the spring equinox. So, um, I'm hearing some other things, right? The sun in Cancer is only until July, right? July 22nd. But this summer, but this solstice period is June, well, the 20th or 21st of June through September 22nd. So that's a whole energy. So we're actually going to be doing, some energies from July, August, and September, right? So it's a little bit more than that. So in having said that, I've been guided by spirit, and spirit's been talking to me about this for a while, and I kind of was trying to figure out how I was going to do this because as some of you know that you've been with me since my channel started last year, I used to do zodiac readings like every couple weeks. I mean, I would do like 12 in a week, right? So I would do the beginning of the month and then I would do it a mid-month. And then I would do full moon and then I would do the new moon. So there was just so much that was going on and I kind of overwhelmed myself, right? Um, Once my channel gets bigger and I'm able to hire people to help me do what I need to do, then maybe I can do a bunch of readings every day, right? But in the interim, I am going to go back to doing zodiac readings, and I want to let you know that I'm going to do three zodiac readings a week. So week one is going to be Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Week two is going to be Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Week three is going to be Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. And week four is going to be Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So you're going to know every second week of the month, and that's going to be the full week. Like, so if the first starts on Wednesday or Thursday, then that following week is the actual first week of that month. So that second week, then Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, you're going to have your readings that week, right? And I'm going to release them on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I'm going to have those 3 days. I might release them all on Monday. I might release them all on Monday and Tuesday, or maybe I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Not sure. So I'm going to try um, to, well, I'm not going to try. I am going to make sure that I'm going to cover, um, like what you don't see coming, the blocks, or it's going to be a pretty involved reading, right? But it's just going to be focused on that sign or on your sign. And having said that as well, is you hear people saying, you should be, um, if you want a full energy reading for yourself for that time period, whether it's the day, the week, the month, then you should be looking at your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus. Well, you should be looking at your personal planets. And the personal planets also include Mercury and Mars, right? And so I wanted to kind of go over that a little bit with you. So first of all, the houses 1 through 6 are your personal houses. Those are they rule your private and immediate lives, your individuality. So 1 through 6, right? Individuality, your daily environment, your siblings and your peers, your parents and home. Um, the fifth house is about romance, affairs, love, right? Sex. And the sixth house is about your daily habits, your routine, your health, right? And then your houses 7 through 12 is your interpersonal houses. Those are those govern your relationships, your joint ventures, travel, career, right? The 10th house is career, society, spirituality, and transitioning, right? So, depending on where, so just a quick um, little note. So your rising sign, I'm a Libra rising. So that means that my first house, your ascending sign, which is the rising sign, that's where your chart starts. So my first house is Libra. So because my first house is Libra, I wrote it down. Hold on, where to go? Here it is. Um, Cancer is in my 10th house, which is my career. So this sun in Cancer is um reflecting on my career. And I feel that too because I'm trying to like feel comfortable with what I'm doing. And this channel right now is considered my career because I'm in the process of retiring. So that's over. And now I'm enjoying myself, right? I'm traveling and I'm being here with you and I'm doing things that are spiritually nurturing, right, Cancer, my soul and helping you figure out some things so that you can do the same. I have 60 years of experience here. Some of you may have the same, but we have different experiences. So my experience in dealing with certain things could help you with your experiences in dealing with things. And I would really like to get to the point where we have like actual like live lives and we talk and you can ask me questions and I can answer the questions and then I'll talk about something and you'll be like, well, what about this? And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way, right? So interaction, right? That's what we're here for. That's what the collective is about. And if you're looking for answers, looking for guidance, that's what I think tarot is, right? For me, tarot is guidance, right? It's giving us guidance. If that is what you're looking for, then we're all part of the same collective so that we can move to our best and our highest selves. There's so much going on around us, right? Right? Without mentioning what happened this weekend, there's so much going on around us that we need to focus on ourselves. We need to stop worrying about things outside our sandbox, right? I think I mentioned that before in the military was like, just worry about your sandbox. What's in your sandbox? And so that's what I'm trying to do now. I lived my life in everybody else's sandbox, and now it's time to live my life in mine. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to care for others or take care of my mom if she needs to be taken care of or my siblings. I'm going to get emotional because I just found out one of my aunts is very ill. So, that kind of threw me off a little bit this week. Um, but that's part of life too. And so that's part of nurturing. So you want to make sure that you're your best person or your best self. And whether that means that, you're the best mom, you're the best sister, you're the best friend. I'm working on myself because I've put, I'm um, a Virgo moon. So and my life has been all about public service, right? I've been giving, I'm the sacred servant, right? I'm always wanting to help. As also being a Libra is the same thing. I'm a Libra sun and a Libra rising. So lots of Libra, right? Lots of scales, balancing stuff. And that has always put me for helping others. And it's not like I never took care of myself. I mean, I like to take care of my hair and myself, right? But it's like I do for myself, and then I put myself on in a little shelf. Okay, you're good. Stay right there. I've got other things to do, but bigger things to do. That's Virgo. That's what Virgo does, right? Virgo doesn't like you to see that they have issues. That, maybe this little part of the house that you don't see is a total wreck, right? They want you to see that everything's all neat and tidy and they're happy and smiling, right? And I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just saying that's how I feel. And that's my Virgo moon. And moon, I wanted to go over that too. So those five personal planets, right? You have the sun, which represents your core identity, your ego, and your self-expression. The moon is your emotions, your intuition, and your subconscious. So that's like, okay, so I don't know what happened. I don't know what's Mercury doing right now, right? My communication. It could be Mercury's in Cancer right now. So how is that affecting my chart, right? I think it's just my internet. Something's going on with my internet today. And I apologize. But I think I was talking about the moon, right? The moon is about your emotions, your intuition, and your subconscious. And it reveals your emotional nature and how you react instinctively to situations. So that's like uh, when something happens, how do you react? Like I'm very good under stress, and that's my Virgo part, I believe. I don't know. I do really well under stress. It could also be a learned response because I was in the military, so I had to learn to react to things quickly, decisively, and with calm and um, leadership, right? Because I was 14 and a half years in the military. I was I became a sergeant at 2 years. So, and I was even before that, I was put in charge of stuff. But so I was always out in front trying to lead other people. So it could be part of the learned part, right? Probably 60-40. And then you have your Mercury, which is your communication, your intellect, and your mental processes. You have the Venus, which is about love, harmony, relationships, right? Aesthetics, what brings you joy, as how you feel about things, right? And then your Mars rules your drive, your passion, and your assertion, and how you take action. So, where is your sun? Where's your moon, your rising, your Venus, your Mars, and your Mercury? So, I'm going to challenge you to um, to take a look at each of those signs, right? So, I'm a Libra sun, a Libra rising, a Virgo moon, and a Venus Leo, right? So for me, my love, harmony, and stuff, it's about, so it's Leo is like, I need to be appreciated. And it's not like, I'm a narcissist or anything, but I like to be appreciated. I like for people to know that and you don't have to tell me, right? I'm trying to think about how um, I was in relationships. Now, and that's a different story too, right? Because it all just depends on who you are. I was very much all about my career, right? I never got married. I don't have children. And it's because my career always came first. And I knew my career was always going to come first. And so people had to know. And so that's why I think I mentioned it several times. It was so hard for me to find or to come to the conclusion that I needed to retire because it was like my life, my identity was my career. And I loved my careers, the different ones that I had, and I was good at it. But then I kind of felt lost when my career met a certain ending, right? It was like, okay, this is as far as I'm going to go. Um, I want to go higher, but I don't want to go higher. It was like a conflict. And it was because of the the profession that I was in and the way that they would do business was not um it didn't jive with me anymore. Um they were doing things that I couldn't do morally, right? So my morals and my ethics. I am very much a loyal person. I've always wanted to do things ethically. I have a lot of integrity. I don't want to lie. And even here, I've told you, I can't do a reading for you if I'm not feeling it. So I have to feel it. I have to be authentic. I can't not be authentic. And that reminds me of one of my friends who also has um, a social media, and she's very spiritual. She has social media accounts and YouTube, and she didn't come out like gay, which there's nothing wrong with that because I am. But she revealed herself more authentically. She was showing herself on social media differently because during that period of time, that's what she needed to help her, right? The sun in Cancer, to help nurture her, to help her feel comfortable and more emotionally secure in herself. But now she's, taken off those masks, taken off those whatever it was that was um I'm going to say shrouding, but it's not really shrouding. That was having her appear a little bit differently than she is truly authentic. And I'm so very proud of her, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I am older than her, but I don't mean it that way. It's hard, right? It's hard to show yourself exactly who you are. But that's what this sun is doing, right? The sun in Cancer. The sun lights the way, right? The moon does too. But this sun right now is preparing us for the fall equinox when things start changing again. So we're all this work that we did, those intentions that we set in spring are now, we're tying up those loose ends and we're trying to um, get things ready and prepared for the fall, for the equinox, for that time period. So I want to draw a couple of cards, and I really look forward to those zodiac readings. I hope you do too. And again, remember that you'll have, you'll have an anticipation that the second week of the month will be um, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, or the fourth week will be the Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, right? And I'll cover 4 weeks, right? So it won't be because, like, for Cancer, like even for um, Libra through Pisces, you're the third and the fourth week. So it's like I'm not going to do July, the last 2 weeks of July. It'll be the last 2 weeks of July and the first 2 weeks of August, right? So I'm going to do 4 weeks. So I'll do like a little general reading, and then I'll pull for each week to get you some information on those things. Okay. So it's going to be exciting. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. All right, Spirit, what guidance do you have for the collective today or for this week? Father Sky, trust in the unknown. So trust your intuition. Um, what is unknown? Like what's coming, right? Let that sun light your way. What's on the bottom? Snake. Shed your old skin, right? New beginnings and release. That's what this solstice is about. Even in the southern hemisphere, it's about releasing what no longer serves you. It's about um, nurturing your emotions in preparation for the spring, right? So I want to get some shamanic healing oracle because we might need some healing, right? We're releasing some things that are kind of comfy for us. Home, Cancer, home, right? Cancer is home. And I want to read that card, what's on the bottom here. Ascension. So we're nurturing ourselves so that we can ascend, right? Our consciousness and awakening. So let's go for home. Number 44, which is the master, a master number. It's about what you're working on, what you're building. Well, 22 is the master builder, but still what you're working on as far as your ascension, right? Spirituality. And the 43 card right before that is letting go. So there you go. Spirit. Spirit has a sense of humor, right? Okay, home. This card represents a homecoming of the soul, of finding your tribe, of coming home. The situation you are inquiring about has the potential to be a homecoming, a safe and secure place that both nourishes you and facilitates your growth, whether it be a school, a relationship, a job, or truly a home. Go for it. All paths lead home. Lead home. Okay, so Cancer is home, growth, right? Um, Nourishing. So can't make this up. You just cannot make this up. You got Father Sky, which is trusting the unknown, which is the new beginning, right? You have the snake, which is shedding your old skin, which is releasing. And you have ascension. So home and ascension. That is what this is about. It's about this new beginning, right? Nurturing yourself at home so you can move forward, so that you can go to your best and your highest self, even in the north or southern hemisphere where you're releasing things that no longer serve you, so that you can prepare for the spring, so you can set those intentions, so you can move forward. Okay, so stay tuned for those monthly zodiac readings, and um, I hope you have a good week. We have the new moon um, coming up next week, and I will be doing some more readings. I'm not going to start my um, monthly zodiacs until the first week of July. I'm going to be working on them, but I'm going to release them the first week of July. And maybe I'll do an elemental or so for like the next 3 months, right? This solstice period. Maybe I'll do something like that. Let's see. Well, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for being here, and talk to you soon.